One thing that I'll say for a fact, when someone says a game is dead, I believe a game never truly dies until there are 0 people playing it. But there is one definite entity that could kill a game, and that would be the game itself, or in this case, the company itself, or in this case, Multiversus. Warner Brothers has announced today that Season 5 will serve as the final update for Multiversus, beginning February 4th and ending May 30th of this year. After Season 5 ends, players will be able to enjoy the game offline for the foreseeable future. Visit our blog post for more details. Thank you for the support throughout this journey. If I had to put the entire controversy of Multiversus in a nutshell, was that the game released with a beta a few years back. You know, it dropped and it had a ton of hype, a whole bunch of buildup leading up to it, because you had this teaser image of Super Saiyan Shaggy doing a Captain Falcon knee, and everyone's like, whoa, is this a new Smash Bros that has good rollback and community support and all that? Given the Smash Bros community's gripes with, Nintendo and, the lack of resources, everyone was really excited to jump ship and try out a new platform fighter that could potentially have been more fun, better experience overall, and a better investment of both time and money. The important part of Multiversus was that it was a game that was free to play, and they made their money with microtransactions, unlocking characters, modes, that sort of thing. What happened was the beta of the game, which honestly I enjoyed. It got a little old over time, but it was overall definitely a solid game that a lot of people loved. I mean, this game had a huge fan base, 150,000 concurrent people playing it when it was first dropped. The game, after being out for about 1.5 years, I think, was put into hiatus so that they could, take it off the servers, build it again, and do a full launch. Remember, this was the beta that everyone was really, really hyped about. And so, naturally, there was a lot of people hoping to see what could have been the future of all platform fighters. The issue was the game dropped. Overall, the sentiment was far, far worse than the beta, which is kind of the opposite of what you expect with a beta. You need a full game's launch to be fast-paced, polished, good. They worked out all the kinks, they worked out all the glitches, they worked out all the modes, they worked out microtransactions, they did something that feels wholesome and fair and worthwhile playing, and somehow they fumbled. That's the word you're gonna see a lot, is a generational fumble, and they really just did everything in a slightly wrong way that eventually snowballed into a collapse of all the players not even wanted to come back to the game. And I think I saw a picture today that it went from, obviously 150,000 concurrent players on the beta launch, or the beta release, to full launch like yesterday having like 250 players live at one point, maybe 600. That's so sad. Like, I get that games have popularities and ebbs and flow, but given the IP here, given how much potential it had, that is tragic. But here's the thing, I can't really, I have empathy, but also we were screaming in the devs' faces, make sure you do this, make the game faster, work this out. Why is it so floaty and buggy? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? They did sometimes listen to the community, and they did fix a lot of the stuff, to be fair. But it was kind of like at the 11th hour. And at that point, I think there was just too much bad blood. I think there was just too much of a sour taste in everyone's mouth to come back to it. And now we have this news today. And what I wanted to do is read the replies to a tweet that I made. Because basically, I wanted everyone to use my post as a sort of, a post-mortem. And I wanted to ask everyone, why did you stop playing Multiversus? So I want to pinpoint a few right here, especially some of the pros like Mirror Man. I've never played a game that hurt as much to play as Multiversus full launch. It's like they looked at Multiversus beta and went, what if we removed every single thing that made platform fighters fun, and then made everything also 3 times as expensive. It's not even like the beta was that good, but the response to people calling it beta floaty and not responsive was to make it even floatier and even more not responsive. I've never seen such a disregard for community opinion ever. I'm having my I told you so moment, because I remember harshly judging this game's launch when I saw the footage. And I hope my editors can put that footage right here of that, I forget, or Gizmo doing a combo, I think on Superman or something, and it's just the dun, 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 dun. Wait for it. Yahoo! It's just... That's not a fighting game! That's a flying game! A player's opinion who I really appreciate, our manager, was of course Bam. My only concern is that I hope PFG Home may drop a long video, but it is exactly as I said, probably 50 times over. Generational fumble, a PvE that was a complete afterthought and cons of execution, a game littered with bugs and issues that would make any typical Q&A person jump into the abyss. Monetization that was so ridiculous you got the games confused. GTM strategy that was probably the worst I've seen. Charlie Chaplin communication with no visuals. A combat designs philosophy that was simply simplify Smash, because simplifying Atom makes sense. The worst strategy against leaks I've seen. Constant yapping about combat overhauls when people consider there's no vision, mediocre internal testing, and no external play testing. He's going to keep it 1,000. For leadership on this game on PFG, this was an L. At best, hopefully it was learning experience for those a part of it. It was an insane circus. Message to anyone creating a platform fighter. If anyone doubts your good direction, you now have a visible reference of what not to do. Make a good game, work with talent that actually know FG combat, because you're in for the, just because you're in the FGC doesn't mean you have the wisdom needed, because for all the bugs, stupid stuff, and monetization, if the combat was actually good, it would be around. If they spent this year of salted properly, maybe it would be the fighting game that broke through. This game is a disrespect to this subgenre. Not for trying to be different, but for thinking that, for being different for difference sake. For thinking Smash, of all things, needed to be simplified. To think that with no general plan, you're superior to literal gaming generations of excellence. Legitimately stupid as hell. I'd say this was Angel Reed's level of misses, but she works hard as a vision and gets those rebounds every time. This is an embarrassment. Season 5 is probably going to be a good step forward too. But to me, it just shows where this game could have been. This wasn't hard. And then that was beautifully stated by Bam. Chia, who's probably editing this video right now. The beta was passable, but even then the game just didn't feel fluid, like the antonym of how Sakurai says that even moving around and doing the basics of a game should feel fun. When the full game came out and it launched with near universally considered worst gameplay, had fewer features than in beta, the period that took it offline felt like it was for nothing and saw no. Very, very well stated. Rockyo, YouTube. Engine was too slow. Mash Fest with no meaningful neutral. Too much monetization. Have to fork over so much cash to play what you want. Stall and fall aerials. Aerials having to compete before the character hit the ground. Too floaty. Physics or lack thereof felt awful. I wanted to run it at locals, but there was no offline mode at launch to play every character in Versus. Huh. And I would have to have multiple accounts, spend a lot of money to even have the base roster. That is a glaring issue with this game, and it instantly made me give up hope. Like, you can fix gameplay issues via patches and community reception, but I couldn't even give the community a chance to try the game before downloading it. That is a giant barrier to entry and the competition. My thoughts are with the passionate community from MVS members who continue to stick it out and put their faith in this game, only to hear this. But a lot of awesome folks at Platfight. This is disappointing, even more so that they won't have direct connect online. They use the hundreds of dollars of cosmetics and characters these mainly young adults and teens spent their money on. Yeah, there was people clamoring that they want a refund on this. Why do? I practiced ancient voodoo magic with a homeless woman in New Orleans to cast a spell, causing this game's permanent closure in Season 5. All inspiring power. And why do? By the way, if you want I think the best video ever made on Multiversus, it's this video right here. LeBron James Smash Bros is a very fun, very evil disaster. Please watch that video. It is excellent. I went to Evo for it in 2022 and loved the game. It was really only the fact that I took a long break, changed a bunch, and seemed to focus on the 1v1 instead of the 2v2. To me, I'll say my opinion. I don't think focusing on 2v2 was the right play at all. Friends lost interest in that time and it was GG. If they had kept things alive, made smaller changes and focused on the thing that made it unique, I would have stayed. The characters they added were... And I'll tell you one thing though, while I go through this again. You have to understand that Warner, Player First, they very, very likely did make millions and millions and millions of dollars off this game, off microtransactions. I mean, they did. It was free to play. If you had 100K people even buy one thing, even if, like, let's say 20% of the original 150,000 people started buying skins or did something that game put in their time at all, let's say even 10%, right? 15,000 people, right? Regularly spending, you know, maybe $10 here and there. maybe 20%. I mean, it still is probably financially a pretty big success for them, but like, obviously it has a time limit and today it expires. Mr. Mice, absolutely zero desire to grind through their half-baked single-player mode to unlock every single character. The relaunch, I was all over this game first time and spent more than I should have because I loved so much. I gave it a week before playing relaunch before I realized how much I hated it. Thankfully, by the time I had given up, a Rivals Kickstarter beta was going on. A lot of people, of course, hopped ship to Rivals of Ether. Blazy, another pro player, them removing quite literally everything that was good about the beta into a full release while having the worst monetization and gameplay I've ever seen. Another one, the overall movement turned sloppy, and it was such a slow mess compared to the gold they had. I genuinely believe the game could have been a mainstay if they kept the game as it was in beta. Here are the mistakes made by PFG for entrepreneurs. This guy already actually did. I just realized what I was trying to do earlier. But yeah, huge hype at launch, no updates, barely updates players left. First beta was abandoned. Then a year of silence with random ad campaigns, including one with McDonald's that just never really saw its fruition to the fullest. Relaunch was worse than the beta. The game felt downgraded, and there was an Unreal Engine upgrade claim that, you know, even if it was the case, did not fix the issues. Hitbox issues, balancing problems, only in the US focused. 70 plus hours to unlock a single character. Broken characters at launch, infinite loops, untested mechanics. Not to mention, they deleted the Iron Giant, which is my main character, middle of a day, middle of a tournament, because they could not figure out how to balance him. Skins and cosmetics mismanaged. I remember especially with this, it takes way too long to unlock the characters. At this point, just sell the game for 40 bucks, 50 bucks with all the characters unlocked. I'd much rather do that. Competitive scene was DOA, no real tournaments, no prize pools, no proper rank system, Evo hype for nothing, zero investment in esports, while Brawlhalla does the opposite. Dude, I remember watching Evo for this game, doubles with, you know, with Void and a cat. There was a whole narrative, it was hype, there was good viewership. I was like, damn, this is actually popping off. People really like this. But what you guys don't realize is there's a lot of unspoken stuff that happened at Evo, including this insane issue where the PC could not support multiple keyboards plugged in and controllers, and players were forced to use controllers instead of keyboards. So they offer the game something and then never fix the issue. A competitive game without a roadmap, cash prizes, or global community support is dead on arrival. Warner had $200 million, but didn't even invest in esports. A few million in cash prizes could have changed everything. This is true. The incentive would have been massive. Even if the game wasn't perfect, you know, the community would have still given it a shot. You think I'm here acting like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is perfect? It definitely isn't, especially online, but we play it because of the IP. Multiversus had everything to succeed and still managed to flop. Massive missed opportunity. What a waste. And, you know, shout outs to Lamine, because he put it basically perfectly here. You know, I'm a full-time content creator now. Gone well for the most part. My biggest stream ever in terms of viewership, who wants to guess what it was? Because it wasn't a coin box. It wasn't a tournament. It wasn't even a front page stream. You know what it was? I was in Europe at the Team Liquid facility, headquarters in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And I just so happened to get a game code from, I think, Warner Bros. Latin America. We had a little contact there who was, you know, talking to content creators. And it's like, do you want one? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take one. I went live with it the morning of, and Europe is up earlier than North America. I went live, 40,000 viewers. 40,000 viewers. That's how big the hype was. No front page, no promotion, 40,000 viewers. I went live. This is why this is going to be considered just a very, very... It's going to be looked at as one of the biggest flops ever in terms of a game that had that much potential. I'll link this tweet in the comments below so you guys can see what everyone else is thinking. The last thing I'll say in this video was my one comment over here where I said this. It was so poorly received by the community that Riot Games themselves canceled their platform fighter, the Melee-esque platform fighter pool party. That's how poor the reception was. And I really will repeat this. This isn't the end of Multiversus, or this isn't just the end of Multiversus, because it is the end. I think it's the end of any non-Smash platform fighter that doesn't listen to the players. And I will stick by that. So essentially, you're making a game. Please learn from this. Please learn from what happened here. Let me know what you think in the comments below about Multiversus, Your thoughts overall on the game. Did you play the beta? Did you play the launch? Should they be shutting down? And what would you have liked to see? What would have saved this game for you? And as always, thank you for watching. And rest in peace, Multiversus.